Hi and welcome to the Martin Bell Show. Hopefully you're keeping well, and in today's video we're going to be reading from the Daily Mail section of the newspaper online, money section, and it's going to be about I want to buy shares for my 10-year-old grandson. How can I do it, and is he too young to pick what I invest in? So I'm going to give you my thoughts and feelings on the subject matter. Personally, I do think 10 years old is a bit young for a child to be picking some individual stocks that he likes or has an idea that he likes. Maybe give him a choice of selection of broad-based ETFs. And why selection of broad-based indexes or ETFs, such as the S&P 500 or the FTSE 100 or FTSE 250 or other ETFs, or maybe some REIT ETFs. But you want to get him involved and having a say on the matter as soon as possible, so he sees that he's achieving success by getting involved and having a say on the matter. And getting him involved really matters, and it's not just like surprised on his lap on his 18th or whenever it is, his 21st birthday, and he has large sums of money. If he's involved through the whole process from 10 years old to when he's able to have the money, he is going to be more wise and less likely to, money, let's blow it all in one go. He's more or less likely to do that. So I think in getting him involved and seeing it grow and making sure he has the right foundation built upon money is very, very important. I would like to start investing in shares for my 10-year-old grandson, with the review of him eventually making the decision when he becomes an adult. What type of account should I use, and share any rules around investing for children? Before I go any further, I am not a licensed professional. This is just me documenting my journey, and it's for motivational, educational or inspirational purposes only. Personally, I'm thinking of a SIPP for retirement. So the reason being is you can put a certain amount in each year for a child SIPP, as well as there are tax benefits where the government puts money in for you, and as he's quite young, it's going to have more time to grow into a large substantial sum of money. So what is the best way to do this? Should I use a company or do this through myself through a DIY investing platform? Right, so teaching children about investing is one of the best things you can do for the next generation, and I totally agree. Jayana Rana, This Money replies, it's a wonderful thing that you want to start investing for your grandson. Getting started and interested in investing as early as possible could help build two vital investor skills: time and patience. The more time you have, the more contributions you can make, the more time your money will have to go further. It's also good to hear that she wants your grandson to play an active role in the investment plans you have for him, which is very important. I wish I learned about investing when I was at school, and so I could understand the importance of it and get started as soon as possible. And I totally agree. I wish I was that way. For some reason, when I was younger, I always used to like looking at them, the individual stocks and shares prices of a company. I never did anything with it. I just looked at it. Maybe that was the inspiration later in life that made me to do the final push to do this now. I never know, but I wish I did start younger, but it is what it is. But there's a Chinese proverb saying that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time is today. So I have started investing. I have been doing it for about a year, nearly a year now probably, and I have started to make some good progress. You said that you wanted to buy shares for him and try to get him involved in picking them. So below we have some ideas of the cheapest and easiest places to do that if you are investing in a relatively small sum to get the interest going. You could do this in his name with a junior ISA or a junior investment account with a DI Western platform that offers one. Alternatively, you could make things really simple and put some cash into an account and he can use with you. Then you could open a DIY investing platform account or sign up an app that offers free share dealing in your name and let your grandson operate it with you when you are together. Personally, I think I would prefer the junior one, because then it can later be transferred over. But then again, if they're not responsible enough, you can then hold on to it until they gain the responsibility, then it can be handed over to them. If you are considering investing, larger sums are more interested in growing his wealth than accruing his interest. Then you may decide it is a better option to go down the route of opening a junior ISA or an account in his name. Perhaps investing in a funds, investment trust or load tracker ETFs. What did I just say? ETFs. Andrew Lowock, head of personal investing at Wills Owen, says, when investing for someone else, it is important to set out objectives clearly at the outset. This to begin with will be what to do you want to achieve with the money, and should cover both the learning objectives, very important, you want your grandchild to get from investing, as well as what you want the money to be used for. A big part of teaching children the responsibility of making their own investment decision and impact they have on the value of the investments. The first decision is how to hold the money. You could keep the money in your name and tell the child that it is intended for them. This does mean that the gains and income are all part of your finances and not the child's, but gives you full control over the money. Junior ISAs are another option and mean the money is the child's name, although they cannot make any investment decisions until they are 16, nor access the money until they're 18 years old. The parent or guardian will have to open the account and has control. Next, you need to decide on how much risk you should be taking. Risk is really determined by the three factors: personal attitude to risk, time, and the financial target. Very true. The goals have determined the last two. Personal aptitude is the best achieved through conversation with the individual. It will be hard to get a realistic attitude to risk for a child, so the adult investor will likely need to lead. Explain what the money is for and why it or isn't appropriate to take risk. This is where experience could really help. At the beginning of the decisions are likely to be yours and not the child's, but it is really important to involve them and get them to contribute, ask questions. There is nothing to stop the child making the investment decisions themselves, so this will mostly have to be executed by a supervising adult, unless you want to hand over your passwords. For a 10-year-old to have such responsibilities, and I personally wouldn't think that would be viable. There may be like a very small percentage of people that may have the ability to do that, but I don't think that would be many people. So it's saying here, junior ISAs have the same tax benefits as an adult ISA, automatically become one when the child turns 18. Up to £9,000 a year can be paid in, and they must be opened by parent or guardian. Interesting. How to invest and what in. Junior runner, this is money ads for a child or anyone that doesn't know a lot about investing. Buying shares can be a great idea, but they are more relatable. If you don't use Amazon or Facebook, or at least heard of them, I think you've heard of Amazon or Facebook, and know what they do, or inclined to invest in these types of names, then funds. It's important to do some reading about each company, not to jump headfirst in just because you recognise the name. Very true. It can make investing more fun and interesting when you do. Investing in individual company shares, as you suggested what you want to do, brings out heightened and more direct interest in what is being backed. Very true. On the other hand, funds and trusts are good for diversification and will be made up of a portfolio of shares. Plus, you have the expertise of a fund manager making the decisions for you. Ultimately, the choice is yours, and it may be that the sum of money being put in the intention matters where on the spectrum between kickstarting and interest in investing and getting good performance from the investment does it right. So yeah, I will be picking some individual stocks probably in the near time future, but for now I'm just going to be buying some indexes and ETFs. As for how to invest, having a fund manager picking investments also has its pros and cons. Probably the cons are the fees and the exit fees and all the fees, and the pros is that they have the knowledge that you do not currently have or not obtained yet, which you could obtain if you put in effort. And it doesn't have to be done in one day, it can be built over long periods of time. So yes. This makes sense if there isn't a confident investor in the house who can support and have conversations about different investments. But the downside is that much of the decisions will be taken by a third party and might always be clear or obvious what those decisions are. And that's very true, because if you're not fully aware why they're making that decisions, there can be uncertainty. If you have gain more financial knowledge, you understand the reasons why they're making them decisions. So it reassures you and it helps you to sleep well better at night, having a better understanding. But the downside is that much of the decisions I think I read that. There are other options to pick in individual funds and investment trusts too, such as making use of a starter portfolio to help build a diversified portfolio. There are many to be found and you can use them at a DIY investing platform such as Hargreaves Lansdown, that's the one with, and AJ Bell. And they may go with Fidelity if I ever get enough money together for like a non-tax sheltered account, if I just to put some money in that one as well. If it is individual share investing that you want, then you should try to build up a portfolio of companies with enough to diversify and not have all your eggs in one basket. But not so many different stocks that it's hard to keep track of. Read our guide of how many shares you need to diversify a portfolio. Other than actually picking the shares, we have to have some ideas to help with the box above. You also need to consider costs. While some traditional DIY investing platforms offer free fund dealing, they charge for buying and selling shares. You can find out more about investing platform charges here. Bear in mind that the share dealing charges for the major DIY investing platforms will be between £8 to £12 for a buy or a sell. But 10 different company shares for a portfolio, and that adds up soon. But yes, but you won't be trading very in and out very often. What I do is I keep adding money to my portfolio into the account until the account balance reaches around £500 or more. Then I purchase some shares, but I don't just do it willy-nilly. I have a sizable amount of money to invest, then I invest it. It's not like if I was with Trading 212, who I was with, then if I had like 50 quid, I could then just automatically invest in it because it didn't cost me a penny. But I'm not so sure about Trading 212 at this moment in time till they solve or resolve some issues that they have been having. If you want to invest a relatively small amount and have another money eaten up by dealing fees, then consider one of the new breed of apps that offer free share trading, such as Trading 212, Freetrade or eToro. Compiling portfolios of shares held in your name for your grandson here will be substantially more cost effective. Just make sure that you only sign up for the dealing and not any high risk CFD trading. Very good. If you don't know, CFD stands for contract for difference, and it enables you to use leverage or borrowing money. But then again, if it doesn't go your way, the leverage will cost you, and you can something called a margin call. And if you get margin called, you have to add further funds into your account, or you get sold out of your position and you could owe considerable sums of money. So yes, very dangerous CFD. I would totally avoid it. Andrew Lockock adds, the right route is also dependent on your objectives. If the purpose is to get your child to understand the importance into the habit of investing, then a company managing the money would still work. If you want to try to get them actively involved, then it makes sense to take control of the decisions. Whatever route you take, there are some simple that will help them learn. Make sure they are involved in the decisions, regularly report back to them, probably at least monthly. Consider regular savings so that they can see the benefits of adding money, little and often. Explain what has happened and why at a time processes will expand out to dividends, compounding, economics and politics. Talk about some of the companies they invest in, but make it relevant. Explain why you hold a company and why it's done well or poor. Be patient and answer all questions. And I think there's a video here about how to start investing. So we're going to have a little look to see which one's best rated. That's a pretty good comment, saying investing in low indexes and broad-based things is pretty good. Yeah, So some of the comments are pretty good, but some of them are quite long, so I can't have time to read them all. Some of them are quite toxic, but then again, you're going to get that anywhere you go with the comment section sometimes. So yeah, I hope you found this video interesting. If you've got a young grandson or grandwoman, then I would suggest getting them involved and making them understand the reasonings behind this and seeing them, and get them really involved so they have a real strong connection to this money, and they're not likely to blow it once they turn 18 or legally are able to obtain of the funds. So if you want to see further views or news videos of me making news videos, then please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, clicking on the notification button when you get notified, click on the bell notification to get notified when I next release a video. I don't just make news articles, I also play video games where we talk about investing, or sometimes we just chill, and I also do updates of my stock portfolio, of my ISA portfolio and my SIP portfolio. So thank you for watching, take care, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Bye guys!